she don't want to kiss me. She don't want to do this. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you gave birth. It's time to get back into the relationship. He texted her and said, I told you there was going to be a time that was going to come that I was going to like have to cut you off and be back 100% committed to Keesha. And she was like, I understand. I enjoyed my time while it lasted.
He talking about he gave her plan B. He shows me the evidence of the plan B. She's saying she took the plan B and must not have worked.
Her best friend says, no, this is not the right time. Wait, don't let her come over with the baby. You need to get yourself together. You just found this out.
And that's when this damn pamphlet come out.
Like a nigga just one night and you never ever think about her again.
Jori said, look, Ashli, I told you there was gonna come a point where I was not gonna go with my girl no more and I'm not losing my family.
And the truth will come out.
I have brands and my manager telling me not to. However, you can make the video and I'll give you the info to tell.
Like, even threats of violence.
Although I mentioned that in my message, nothing was about me and your response.
In episode 4, we have so much drama and exclusive receipts to show you guys. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I really recommend you guys do. The link will be in the description below. In episode 4, we're going to show you guys what was the cherry on the cake that led Ashli and Hazel going live.
She was already pregnant with the revenge babies.
We will talk about if Hazel and Ashli did talk bad on Keesha's kids. Did you hear though Ashli out of her own mouth talk on your mom or your daughters? And we will show you some never seen before messages between Keesha and Ashli after the lives that they dropped. I will be showing you guys conclusion part 1 to what we've seen so far through the previous episodes, as a lot of you guys really want to know what my opinion is on the whole situation thus far. Now, before we get into this drama, I have a huge disclaimer. Please do not harass any of the individuals that will be mentioned in this series. Now, some people have apologized for some of the involvement they've had in this drama. So again, do not harass any of these individuals or their children. Now, before I move forward with the story, let's get into some corrections and mistakes that I did in the previous episode. Now, the first one is that Ashli actually did speak about having an abortion, but she never got into details if it was Jeremy.
Seeing the ultrasound and seeing life was growing inside of me, I felt closer to God, honestly. And I felt like I made such a mistake before choosing what life could stay or not, that this time I was going to leave it in God's hands. And I put all my faith in God that if my child is not supposed to be here.
And you guys point out something that I totally missed. Jeremy actually called Britt the B word in his video that he did.
Basically trying to take the value and the love that I got for Keesha away. And it's like, you ain't no friend at all. Like, you lame as hell. And it's just like, even the conversation that we had on her birthday, the little slick she was trying to say, and I was trying to put you down on what the going on, but obviously your drunk ass was too drunk. And then it's so crazy because, bitch, I'm up here taking care of your stinking ass.
You were still messaging him and trying to sleep with him after you first went to the internet in August. You were still messaging him in December and making it seem like, oh, I want you over.
After all the drama and everything that went down, Ashli ended up uploading a part 2 to her Q&A. Now, she spoke on events that we already spoken about in the previous episodes, but she also said,
close this chapter and start a new book. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. Like, I'm drained, I'm tired. Like, talking about this situation, it's not fun at all. I definitely get in my feelings because it's something that we're still currently dealing with. There's still a lot of kinks that have to be straightened out. I'm trying to stay as strong as I can for my son. I'm trying to be the best example I can be for my son. I'm trying to just really make the most of my situation for what it is. You know, it sucks tremendously, but we're here now.
She talks about some of the criticism that she has faced.
You all have found me, and as a result, I've gotten, you know, mixed reviews and mixed comments and mixed opinions about the situation. Honestly, I'm just gonna choose to focus on the positivity. I definitely have gotten my messages where shade being thrown, or, you know, they're very opinionated, or, you know, it's the whole, you'll always be a baby mama. I sat down and I had to really think about it. Like, I could really just dwell on this, or I could just keep moving. And I choose to keep moving. So
she responds to Keesha talking about how Keesha didn't want Ashli to be in the Q&A.
Yeah, because you knew I wasn't gonna go for the one night stand comment, baby. You knew that, like, what? Like, you knew that I wasn't gonna go for the, oh, I'm very active in my son's life, and matter of fact, we both are. All this being done, it didn't have to go this way. And I feel like being that what the outcome is, you know, we both, well, all of us, the commentary, the negative commentary, and then I see that there still are some positive commentary. So I'm just confused on why you thought it was okay to come online and do all that and say that and make those kind of commentaries when you hadn't even seen what I said. Like everything I said was truthful. I've said it to your face. I don't feel like I need to come on here and talk bad about anyone, period, because the situation sucks for everybody. But I'm gonna also keep it how it is. I'm gonna keep it the truth. I just feel like that was very unnecessary. I feel like as the man who really plays like the biggest part in this, you should have used your platform to come on here and say, listen, y'all, both women are great women. And that's that. There's no need to try to tear one person down or the other person down. Like, I don't understand that. Like, we're all suffering. We all are hurting. We all are getting a short end of a stick. Like, it is what it is. And I just feel like I never came on here. I never acted an ass. I never and played victim. I never came on here and said, oh, you know, this, that, and the third. Like, no, all I've ever said was that me and my son live in our truth. And I stand on that. And it doesn't matter how ugly the truth gets. And what comes from it is just a matter of being real. That was untasteful. That's how I feel. That was very untasteful. I'm over it. Like I held my mouth a lot of the time because of the conversations that me and him would have. And it would just try to be kind of out of respect of us trying to figure out like how we can become the best co-parents we can be. And I didn't want to stir up any extra, you know, foolishness. So I was just gonna eat it and just keep it moving. But after a while, it's just like I'm only gonna allow you to keep speaking on me and speaking about me, but for so long. Sad that his father is upset that I'm choosing to make lemonade out of my lemons, as a lot of you all have said. It's time to close this chapter.
During this time in December and January, it looked like Jeremy was trying to make it up to Keesha and win her back. Then by December, Ashli and Hazel then created their YouTube channels. Ashli's called The Leeway and Hazel's one called Yes, I'm Hazel. I'm only assuming this was around December only because the videos that they uploaded were in December last year. Regardless, it was around this time they decided to start uploading videos anyway. But things took a really big bad turn when Jeremy ended up replying to a few of the commenters on one of his videos where he called Ashli out her name. So I feel, and this is an assumption, that she must have blocked him after that video. That's why he decided to act the way he acted in those comments.
Because we seen the bullshit, Ashli's sister got in the chat. Of course, her comment was deleted, but the comment says, Jeremy, shut the fuck up with all that cap shit. You can't even do the bare minimum. You know damn well all you gotta do is at least call and she will put him straight on the phone. But because you can't even pick up the damn phone, he don't. What money? Like, for real, my nigga, she don't ask you for shit but to bring something for August when you walk through that door. Diapers, wipes, formula, snacks. I mean, anything, nigga, something. But it took you about a month to show up with snacks and formula that's less than $150. You know I know some shit because I be there for real. Seeing her in her personal vulnerable state, this dude, he talks a good game, you know, and then he does the complete opposite. Seeing that Shanita was very vocal about the way she felt about Ashli several times on her social media. Seeing that they painted this narrative about her and she had no clue of it. They had been so vocal about her and they had put her in a situation where her back was damn near against the wall. She's being vocal to me about it. We're sitting in the house, we're having powwows. I'm getting emotional, she's emotional. It's pissing me off because it's my real life. You know, I really have to deal with that. So it's like, how dare y'all? How dare you get on this platform and portray her to be one way and then you're in the phone texting her, trying to set up meetings with August, trying to like be his mother. You know, it was just real false. You know, where I'm weak at, she's strong. We pick each other up. This is what's gonna happen. This is how we gonna do this. August gonna eat. My baby's gonna eat because niggas been feeding August all this time. We've been doing a lot of shit, taking up a lot of slack for his ass and for whatever they have going on. So I just feel like it was no better time. It was no better way to do it. We're strategic about in the things that we do. So I just like, that's why I decided to be vocal. That's why I decided that this is what it's gonna be. on this platform, and it's actually really embarrassing for him to have got on here and said that. How do you get on here and call her a bitch? Of all things you could say, you gonna call her a bitch? He's childish, he trash, he needs to pay for all the child care and health insurance, right, Troletta? He definitely does, and that should be a little bit, whatever type of money that he's given, he should make sure he allots that to make sure that his son is taken care of. He told me out of his mouth he doesn't feel like she should pay for a nanny when they could bring August to the nanny over there.
They end up talking about the nanny, which is Keesha's mother, by the way.
Her mom didn't acknowledge Augie, so why the fuck would he go there? Exactly. How does he even make money? I hate that Ashley has to go through this.
And then he's talking about a nanny. First of all, the mom leaves at 7:30 p.m. After 7:30 p.m., she's clocked out. She's done for her shift. That's it.
Come to some sort of common ground. That's why I spoke to him. No disrespect, but yeah, that's why I spoke to him, because he called me.
Something clear. I blocked him, and I do this from time to time because at the end of the day, my child is still a baby. As again, he's still a baby. And during these times when this all will be going on, my child feels how I feel, and I have to protect my peace in order to protect my child. You coming around and show your face for a couple of hours to laugh and giggle for a little bit and then leave, that they don't do nothing for my child, and that's not nothing that's worth stating. Like that's nothing to me. Like, my baby needs food, he needs clothes, he needs shoes, he needs diapers, he needs wipes, he needs bath products, he needs bath toys. I mean, the list goes on.
Hazel said twitching. Now, I'm not really sure who she was talking or who that was directed towards. If it was directed towards Keesha's mother or Keesha.
Nobody is sending August over there with them, okay? The chick can't even take care of the 3 she got. She be twitching and she think I ain't see that. Stressed out, y'all.
She talks about how Jeremy isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing as a father.
The situation, cool, but my thing is, if we're trying to move forward, why do you constantly feel like it's okay to talk about me in the sense that you're talking about me and then try to really act like you do something? Like, you don't do anything. You don't do anything. You don't hold yourself accountable. All your comments always refer back to what position that I play. But what about you, sir? You knew who you have to go home to. You know what you got to do. At the end of the day, regardless if y'all are break or not break or whatever the fuck y'all want to say y'all are on, you're the one who has to go back home. I didn't leave my house.
A question was asked, how do you not take care of your kids and be okay with that? Thank you to whoever put that in his video, because he needed to see that shit, because he needs to face reality. Man, you listen to somebody that know I take care of my son, so I'm not worried about what y'all talking about. Tell her, let me see my son instead of wanting money all the time. Money was asked of him one time to pay the nanny. That's the only time. You don't take care of him. I don't know how she stays with him and he don't even take care of his. When you get on your platform and become disrespectful, all bets are off, nigga. When I say she needs to grab a seat when Ashley releases her receipt, that bitch need to get a chair to see that she needs to do it on her own, because this nigga is a punk. Don't nobody say nothing like that about the mother of their child. Like, your son that shit, and I hope when he get old enough he realize that shit and punch the dog shit out your ass. And hopefully, well, your girl is dumb as anyway, so she gonna stay. So
then Hazel ends up saying that Jori is a revenge baby.
First, get the full story, and dead ass go home and commit to him. Like, she's a idiot. She was already pregnant with the revenge baby, so she ain't have no choice. Feisty. She say Shanita spoke on her live about it. We don't about what that bitch talking about. The bitch is retarded. Okay, her brother don't even have her own back, so we don't give a what she's saying. Does his siblings see Augie? You talking about Keesha kids? You talking about Keesha kids? You asking, do Keesha kids see him? Nah. I'm gonna stop.
Ashley talks about how it could have been a really good blended family.
And the second time I came over, they were all over me. They were climbing up me, all in my phone. We were having a good time. So I'm disappointed that it hadn't played out the way it played out, because I definitely could see where it could have been, you know, a nice little blended family in a sense. Like,
if Keesha is watching, what's up, ho?
They talk about Britt's apology.
Oh, somebody asked me if I accept that girl apology. All I have to say about her apology is that was cute.
It was cute. You spoke on a lot of shit you shouldn't have spoke on, but like I told her in whoever's live that was, I think it was Nia's, you got a battery put in your back and you let her do what she wanted with you. She just did what she needed you to do. She got her problem solved.
Understand how someone can really set their friend up to go do that if that's not really what you wanted.
Yeah, like she did her dirty.
Very dirty. I would never tell my friend to come on here and speak on something and then turn around publicly and be like, oh, I don't know what she got going on, y'all. That was not supposed to happen. That's not what I said.
How do you feel about Jeremy telling Keesha your personal womanly business, knowing that she could spread it? Niggas pillow talk with their hoes all the time.
Yeah, and I addressed him on that as well. And he claimed that he wasn't pillow talking and this and the third. I have those messages as well, where I told him, like, you sitting there pillow talking with her. But that's fine, because when she contacted me, she told me as well that he was telling her, you know, different personal things about me. And I said, well, that's fine, because he told me about some things with you too. So
hello, exactly. Like, it's some shit off with your hygiene, sis. Like, we got tea.
Hazel ends up talking about wanting to go on Paris's live.
I'm down. I love Paris. Paris is a mess, y'all. Paris had me cracking up last night, honey. Who smashed his car windows? I don't know, probably a boy.
Ashli talks about if it's possible to move forward with Keesha.
When I've spoken to her by herself, we've had plenty of conversations. And then when I speak to him, it's a whole different conversation. And when they come together, it's crickets and it's quiet. So honestly, I don't know if I could even really like move forward with her, because I'm not sure the type of woman she really is. Like, when I thought I had a good idea, some of the family members reminded me, like, you know, just be careful, and then boom, this happens, and then boom, that happens, and then boom, this happens. So I don't really know.
And they end up talking about someone being slow. Now, I'm not sure, because I don't have access to this live, so I can't go and see who Hazel is replying to.
SB, not that she looks slow. I think she is slow.
I don't know about this rapping. Every time I ask him, can I hear a song? Because every time I ask him what you're doing, what he's supposed to be seeing his son is, oh, I'm in the studio. I'm going to try to come after, or I'm on my way to the studio. And it's like, okay, well, can I hear something then? Oh, you know, you're going to hear when it drops for everybody else too. Oh, okay.
He dropping his album, y'all. We ain't no haters. Support the wishing wells.
Ashli talks about how she knew Jeremy and Keesha were actually moving forward in the relationship.
He never clarified when the break was over and when they got back together. She hit me up and she told me when they were moving back forward. So that was the only time that it was clarified to me when exactly their little break was over.
So please, like, sir, don't get on here trying to make her look like a home wrecker. You wrecked your own home, your own condo, your own apartment. You wrecked your own apartment.
Hazel and Paris end up coming for his mother.
She can't believe her daughter just as dumb as she is, right, Paris? Because my mother would never, and my mama in this chat, my mama would never sit around and let me take care of a man. And she damn sure wouldn't let me call her no damn nanny. And she's in this chat. She would never. And she could hold a sentence or 3. So yes, her mama should have said something. And yes, since your daughter decided to stay with this man, and you welcome this behavior, your daughter decided to stay and stick around, just make sure that you address Ashli when she come over there, because the situation is what it is. Your daughter accepted it, so you should too, nanny. Keisha's dad left Lady Tits for a man girl. Their drama runs deep. Lady Tits' man named Tony got a gold tooth and doesn't work either. He cleans up though. See, the whole family is messed up.
Says that kids and family should be left out of this.
That's when I agree. I think we should leave the kids and families out of it.
Now, apparently Hazel and Ashli made more live streams, and apparently kids were getting dragged. Now, as some of you guys know, I wanted access to these lives to see if it's true. Is it true that Hazel and Ashli was talking bad on Keesha's kid? Now, I do not have access to these lives, and I did ask Hazel twice. And I've seen you guys encouraging her not to show these lives. If it was me and someone accused me of talking shit on kids, I will have no problem sharing those lives. But that's just me. And obviously there's a huge difference than talking about someone's parenting than actually talking about their kids. Now, according to Hazel, her and Ashli did speak ish on the kids and Keisha's mom. And apparently this was said on Lipstick Alley. Now, I will go into more detail about this post and what's the drama behind this post in another episode, but I wanted to point out, as you can see here, this account does belong to Yes I'm Hazel, and then she says she definitely talked ish with me about Keesha, her mama, and her kids. The F, let's be real. So she's referring to Ashli. This is the thing. How do I know if this is real? Okay, so we're in the forum, and all you had to do is search her name, right? So that's what I did. As you can see here, everything's yes, I'm Hazel. So, okay, so it was actually in a derailed post 2021, and I cannot find that anywhere. She's been in black owned, she's been posted on Keesha's forum, but I cannot find this derailed posts of 2021. I'm like, where is it? And it's not under her name, but that's the name that I typed in. So I can only assume that maybe it's been reported. Now, I did message Hazel and I did ask her, is this you? Is this your account? And she said yes. After all this, I decided to ask Hazel and show her what I have. And she pretty much just left me on scene. Did you hear though, Ashli out of her own mouth talk shit on your mom or your daughters?
I heard Ashli throwing jabs. At that point, she was saying, like, it wasn't like the crazy stuff that Hazel was saying, the stuff that I had heard at that point. It was just more so jabs of my mom being disrespectful, and then Hazel was elaborating on,
okay,
well, I'm gonna tell you exactly this disgusting B word and and then Ashly's just sitting right there, and it's just kind of like, Ashli, we resolved this. Like, you mad about someone not speaking to you, but you want me to just like bow down to you after you stole my old boyfriend. I just gave birth. Like, I'm confused.
Well, yeah, I remember we talked a little bit about that, because when she came back the second time, I believe, right? When your mom was there, you told your mom, hey, talk to her, etc. Did Ashli and mom, did your mom and Ashli end up having a conversation the second time they seen each other, or a small talk?
But my mom did speak.
Okay.
And my mom stood right. So when Ashli was talking to me about, so this was the time when Ashli brought me food, and my mom was standing out on the island, in the kitchen when Ashli came over. So she was eating, and she just was standing up, but she came out, and then she told Ashli, hey. Ashli said, hey, back, and then I'm like, okay, and I told my mom, thank you.
Okay, so it was just, okay, so it was like no full conversation, but it was just like acknowledgement, like, hey, I know you're here. Okay.
That's Ashli said that all she wanted was to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And my mom did it. She acknowledged her and said, hey. It wasn't like a hey girl, but it was like a hey, and she said hey.
After these lives going all crazy in the mother sector of YouTube, Keesha ended up seeing some of this apparently, and she ended up messaging Ashli saying this. Ashli, you and your friend are completely out of line. The disrespect is evident from someone who was just texting me months ago accusing me of being ungodly and a bad person. I've been nothing but respectful towards you despite the situation at hand. I come at you peacefully in midst of a very bad situation. At the time when I was pregnant and carrying life, I still chose the higher road to the right by you and your child, and you took an opportunity to get online and demean and disrespect and lie on me for what? Because trolls told you to do so? Because this is going to help out your son? You took a book, which I'm sure you didn't read at all, and spoke out without fact-checking. I never spoke about you in our book, and if you were a woman with morals, you would have read the book before speaking on it. I have continued to speak neutrally about you every time I mention your name and your son, but you are online disrespecting my mother, myself, and my daughters. How dare you create a platform that encourages bullying and slander and harassment? How dare you keep claiming to be a woman of God when we both know I didn't do anything to hurt you, even though you gave no F's about me in either of my pregnancy. Even as I sat in front of you and had enough decency to inform you that a book was being written when I didn't have to do that. Legally, my book went through an attorney, and like I just mentioned, I didn't say a word about you, which includes even mentioning your name at all. I sat in the hospital bed after I gave birth to my child, still communicated with you to make life easy for the both of us, and I told you that no matter what was going to happen, I would never slander you over the internet, and I kept my word. Videos that were just sent to me from you are your friends are ruthless. The fact that you were speaking on me when you had every opportunity to tell the truth, that I was nothing but nice and helpful to you with this situation, but you fell into the hype of hate. You do not know my mother. Do not let these people tell stuff about my mother and you speak out as if you were speaking facts. Stop telling these people I encouraged Jeremy to be a deadbeat when we both know that's not true. You speaking out real reckless, sharing too much business when you don't know how this internet ish works. And I told you to watch out for that, and you swore you wanted no parts. It's funny how things change. This is how I feed my children. I did not come to your place of business and stir up drama. You need to check back into reality and see that slandering me will not get you nowhere. The internet is a very dangerous place, and just like people feeding you info to get on your platform to speak on, I have people who are feeding me info, but I don't operate like that. I'm a mother and I never want my children to get on the internet seeing no mess that you're doing. Me nor Jeremy have ever publicly talked mess about you, but you let these miserable ass strangers convince you otherwise. I really can't believe even after you did, and I still found forgiveness in my heart, and you would try to bash me and use my name for views. You need to have a conversation with God, because all the money isn't good money and all the views aren't good. I'm asking you to stop speaking out lies on me and do not speak on my mother, and of course don't say anything about my children. We could go back and forth on the internet all day, but for what? Like I said, I didn't do this to you. I didn't tell you to lay down with anyone. I accepted you and your child in my home, and you gave me your ass. You and your friend are dead wrong, and you get on a high horse about my former friend and her speaking on you. I told her myself to publicly apologize to you because she was wrong. See, I operate on principle, and even after you started with your channel, I still hold her to do the right thing because I don't condone bullshit. You said you were sorry to me for hurting me, just for you to hurt me again while I was pregnant with Jori, and I still gave you a hug after I knew you looked in me in the eyes and wasn't honest about what I asked. But it's cool, Ashli. You do what you feel is right over the internet, but you be sure to read my book or listen to every video that I put out and speak respectfully about. You got my kids in the middle of some issue and getting publicly dragged, and you're a whole mother. Like I said, Ashli, please refrain from speaking out on me, my mum, or my children. I don't speak on you in any malice way, and I ask you to do the same.
Ashli responds showing the receipt showing that Jeremy did say bad stuff about her in the public, and then she responded with saying,
first of all, I didn't say shit that was false. Second, you love to play victim. I read all I needed to read from your book and your weak ass Q&A. I never said that you said anything about me. I spoke on our children's father. You say you talk respectfully, but you throw little shade your own way. I haven't said anything disrespectful. And when you talk about watching anything through, you'll see I said let's keep the kids and family out of it. You consistently talk of this man who had called me out my name and put his own business in the streets. I have every right to say what the I want, when I want, how I want. Just like you choose to say your piece, I'ma say mine. It's funny how you didn't get the reaction you thought you were gonna get. Now I'm being disrespectful. Let's not forget every time you hit my line how disrespectful you constantly calling me out my name. That's too damn you feel that way. I felt very disrespected on several occasions, and all I've done is own up to what I've done. Whereas you and your delusional man tried to pass the blame off to everyone, admitting your part you played. I didn't have to sit down with you, so don't act like I try to take the high road till I get blindsided by you and yours. Where was that energy when you finished the book or decided to do the sit down? And please tell me, what lies did I say? When he gets on the internet and bashes me and calls me out my name, all the bets are off. And when you and I sat down, it was your man who told me to keep it to myself and not tell you too much. Stop hitting my phone, go talk to your man and worry about your household. And let me say this once and for all, I did not ruin your second pregnancy. That was your aunt, the only person who owes you that loyalty. You said enough in the book without saying ish to give them someone to look for, and when they came and found me after your actions, I'm not supposed to turn my negative into a positive because it makes you uncomfortable. Sweetie, you could have walked away on numerous occasions and you chose to stay, so that's your problem, not mine. Keesha then says, Ashli, I have the video. People have sent me snippets of what the videos are about. What have I done to you? Nothing. Do not send me stuff about Jeremy after you got on the platform and dragged him through the mud. Me nor Jeremy ever said no slick ish about you or your mother. That is low. Do not speak on my mother when you do not know her. You are listening to strangers who would never have the right to your child. You talk about being blindsided by the book when I told you it was being made. I told you could read it. I was effing blindsided by a lot of things you did, but it didn't matter because I did my part with the situation. You are speaking on me being a bad mother. You are speaking on my mother, and you are speaking on kids. This isn't about no damn victim, Ashli. It's about right and wrong. You can't run any receipts of me speaking ill on you or a video or except from my book. Find somewhere where I bash. Jeremy is still the father of your child, and you literally speaking so foul on him for what? If you mad at him, why are you speaking on him? And why are you speaking on my mother who doesn't have anything to do with this? You were missing the whole point, and I was very respectful, and you know that. Like, stop making all these videos speaking out on me. You got my number, call me like a woman if you have a problem. It's all this back and forth because you listen to the internet. Your issues isn't with me. Your issue isn't with no damn book. If you have an issue with the father of your son, handle that issue with him. I'm not on my platform talking ish about you. Do not speak on me, my children, or my mother. Ashli then replies saying, baby girl, I did not speak on you, your mother, or your children. Nor did I drag him through the mud. All I said is that he could do more. Where is the lie? I said your mother didn't speak, question mark. Where is the lie? My friend said her piece, that what you need to take up with her. I haven't said is disrespectful. I said my parts yesterday after he called me out my name, and you talking about people send you videos? Girl, you just said, you know what, it don't even matter. And bring up Brick like she ain't got the info from you. Girl, sit down and found someone else to play with. I expected this from you. And why you love to bring up what info you have on me like that's supposed to make you powerful? Like, get the F out. Please tell me what that would do for you. You realize all this came from you and him. It didn't have to go like this,
but you chose to go public, and when you choose to respond publicly, now I'm wrong? Girl, bye. And be blessed. Now, I am a little bit confused about this because during this time, I believe Keesha did not go public. Unless there is something I'm missing, let me know in the DMs and Instagram. I cannot find anything of Keesha going public, but I do know Jeremy went public in the comments, and that was it. Keesha responds saying, okay, Ashli, you being childish. Like I just told you, we had an entire conversation in person about this. Do not speak on me, my children, or my mother, just like I checked my friend who checked yours. I don't know how you think this is helping you, but it's not. I'm an adult, so I don't go on the internet to speak out. I call the person I have an issue with and handle it. Or better yet, handle ish face to face. When you're ready to do that, you let me know. Until then, I'm respectfully asking you to not speak on me or my children or my mother on your platform when you are speaking lies and encouraging bullying and slander. Like I said, your problem is not with me because I didn't do ish to you. I made the best of a shitty situation and you can't even see it. If you're a woman, be a woman 24/7. Don't come to me with he said, she said, repeat it and try to justify it by continuously bringing up a damn book that we both know was being written. If I came to someone I'm not speaking out on term. I shared your videos in my book that's causing so many issues with my attorney. You sitting over the internet and laughing with bitches who haven't even given your son an ounce of love or respect and only watching you to see you speak on me. You met me. You talked to me. You saw me handle your child with love and care at a time that was hard, and now you want to try to throw something in my face like I'm the problem? You weak for that. You're not woman enough to admit that you're wrong, and that's so sad. You let these people convince you out of living your truth after I laid in a hospital bed giving birth to my child, trying to still accommodate your feelings. Then you want to make me out to be a bad guy? Like I said, be a woman, Ashli. Get off the internet and prioritize your son. I'm the mother of his sister. Did you reach out and let him say happy birthday? No, because you would rather be on the internet talking ish. He's more than welcome to come pick up his gifts from his sisters because that's the type of woman I am. You fighting against the wrong person. If you have something to say to my face, then you let me know when you tell me to handle ish face to face. Until then, do not speak on me, my children, or my mother, or your platform. Ashli replied saying, listen, little girl, I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with you. That's your issue. You love to point the finger everywhere else but to yourself. Your fans came to me. I didn't go looking for them. They called you a bad mother after watching you from what you choose to show them. You got one more time to tell me how to be a woman but want a pity party for staying. No one called my baby and said Merry Christmas or anything. I didn't talk any shit, little girl. I swear facts. That's not my job to keep up with your daughter's birthday when that's his father's job. Sweetie, you're mad entitled for what? Girl, like I said, go sit down. I don't have ish to say to you until you can really tell the truth and truly speak with respect. I can speak on my experiences and everything else because I can do that. You had no problem making a video saying that we did this to hurt you and consistently trying to play victim. And that's sad. You really believe that you didn't start this or that you really took a second out your day to consider my feelings? Stay off my phone and find someone else to play with. You met a version of me, remember. You don't know who I am or what I'm capable of.
The cease and desist situation. So you actually never sent her like a legal document to like, hey.
A cease and desist isn't a legal document. A cease and desist is a warning that they will take legal action. Attorney sent her the cease and desist, but that's just because I had an actual attorney at the time who was handling this and who was looking at the videos, and they determined what was happening. See, I can watch anybody's video, I can watch your video and say, I don't like it, and send you a cease and desist on my own and get it notarized. And then, you know, that's just my own opinion. But I had actually had an attorney, and I said, hey, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, they kind of were privy to the situation anyways because I had already talked to them about if I had any legal responsibilities to a child that, you know, me and Jeremy would have get married, blah, blah, blah. So they kind of already were privy to Ashli. And then once that situation happened, I said, hey, what grounds is this? Because my child does not have any disability of Down syndrome or any of the things that they were saying. My mom's not slow, blah, blah, blah. So, and my attorney said it was defamation of character and slander. So they sent the cease and desist. Did I ever plan on taking legal action against Ashli? No, it was more so just know this is how serious I am with you, but you need to have a grown adult conversation. But Ashli was not on that maturity level to do that.
Okay, so you're saying that you sent it to her so she can get off the internet and communicate with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, okay, so before I move forward with the story, it's important that I give my conclusion and what I think now. But just to say, I will give another conclusion, and that doesn't mean that my conclusion is set in stone. I may change my conclusion later on down the road. Most of these things I'm going to talk about, some things have been apologized for, just so you guys know. In the timeline of events, we are up to the escalation when everything starts to go hellwire. And a lot of the things are repeated, and I rather give rebuttals to all their videos that have been uploaded. One thing I definitely want to say is that Keesha definitely has a dedicated hate group. And there is different groups. You got the fans, you got the people in the middle, and then you got the people that hate. The people that hate have hate goggles on. And a YouTuber said it best, and I'm going to roll her clip.
Confused, and I definitely understand what these people are saying, because the truth is, once you're not crucifying Keesha on a cross, they will not be happy. It doesn't matter how clear it's being, no matter how justified it's being to all parties involved. Once he's not putting Keesha, Kaylee on a cross to crucify her, they will not be happy.
These people basically they don't want to hear if she wasn't wrong in this situation or that's it. They want her to be wrong in everything. Even people go on Lipstick Alley, and if they defend her or have a different opinion than the rest of the sheep do, they get accused of being Keesha. And these people are so biased. They're so biased to the point that they will say, you are biased even though you are not operating from a place of hate. Even with my videos, I'm considered biased even though I interview people. Even though I haven't agreed to every single thing that Keesha said. I haven't agreed to what anyone has said. The only thing I pointed out was what the trolls were doing behind the scenes to try to cause harm in her real life. Before I actually made this series, I was already getting crucified because people already assumed that I was hired by Keesha. They were listening and running around like sheep and like parrots, repeating the same thing. You know, like cockatiels, you say something back, hello, they say hello back to you without evidence. Keesha paid Martin. Oh, yes, Keesha paid Martin. They were like parrots, basically repeating the same thing given to them by someone else. Some will even come up with rumors saying that I'm a white man and I'm racist, etc. Everything to try to discredit this video. Okay, so let's get into the cheating aspect of things. I'm guessing through counseling that they took, and I'm assuming that Keesha realized that it's also somewhat her fault, but obviously, yes, Jeremy is to blame to what the things he's done, but the things that she wasn't holding onto her bargain, like giving Jeremy affection, attention, and appreciation, etc. when she was going through the situation that she was going to when she had the twins. Now, Jeremy ended up saying to her, you haven't been kissing me or nothing, Keesha. I understand we can't F, but you're not even S-ing. You're not even sucking my lollipop. Not only that, Jeremy even spoke to his brother about the situation.
This like she don't want to kiss me. She don't want to do this. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm horny. It's like we can't. Like, she don't want to do nothing. She just don't even want to try. Like, I was willing to have a family with her because I knew she was the girl I want to spend the rest of my life with. And even though I would rather have waited a few more years, but I knew she was the one, so I was willing to compromise and make her happy. So he got the phone, and I came in there crying. And I was just like, it's our anniversary. Like, let's be happy. And he didn't even say happy anniversary. So I'm like, we're not going to even say happy anniversary. He was like, Keesha, like, this is too much for me. Like, this is too much. And I was just like, you know, I didn't expect to feel this way when I got pregnant. Like, I thought I was just going to get pregnant. Maybe, like, I've never even been nauseous in my life. Like, I never had hot flashes. Like, none of the effects that I was dealing with while I was pregnant. Never miscarried before.
So Jeremy was in a really frustrated place. But at the same time, Jeremy is not a conscious man. If he was a conscious man, I feel he wouldn't have done what he did, entertaining other girls at that time. So I understand the feeling and that pain when you kind of get rejected and they're not going to give it to you, especially when you love doing it and that's how you express your love sometimes. I understand. But in this instance, you have been in a relationship with this girl for a long time now, and she is pregnant with your kids. And you went that far and did that. After, as you heard in the video clip, she told you what she was going through. You should have been there for her. Instead of thinking about your D. Like, damn, you could have got a sex toy. There's so many realistic vaginas out there. Now, what made it worse is that Keesha, instead of putting her foot down and saying, no, don't go out there and do this, she broke up with him and they had terms which he didn't end up following. But at the same time, they broken up. Once you're broken up with someone, the loyalty is not there. He can do whatever he wants at that point because he has broken up. And even though you had terms of meeting up again, you still gave him the leeway to do it to other people. But he did end up cheating once they got back together. When she told him to leave him alone, she needs time to think, he ended up cheating on her with Ashli. And then he did it again when they were trying to co-parent. That was so wrong. And what's so funny is that Jori and Ashli are the same. They're both going out and cheating on their partners or being disloyal to their partners or not committing to their partners, etc.
If you have male friends that leave condoms, this is what I told her. I was like, if you have male friends that leave condoms in your trash can by your bed, that's ridiculous. And and she was like, I don't have male friends except one that's not my best friend since high school. He been in my house once. You keep trying to act like you know what's going on or you got shit figured out. So if that's the case, don't talk to me. I said one thing I didn't say. Well, my assumption was you always talking about stop bringing it up, tit for tat, but that literally all you do. I was like, I'm not doing it tit for tat. It's literally facts and hearing is acceptable. I have female friends. How the fuck would you feel if I kept making my own story in my head and keep telling you what you did and you know that's not at all nowhere the truth?
So she literally just said, whoever it was she talking about Jori, or was she saying just one random guy has been in her house one time?
She said one guy that I don't know who it is because I didn't never know she had a male best friend. That's bullshit.
Oh, she's saying she had a male best friend only been in her house one time.
Yeah, she said that's the only person that's been in her house, and I was like,
they both cheated. But it's so funny how everyone hates Jori. Jori's a cheater. Oh, but Ashli's this and Ashli's that. When Ashli was doing the same thing that Jori was doing. And that's how you know these people operate from a place of hate, because they're hypocrites. Hate Jori for cheating, but we love Ashli even though she cheated and was disloyal to her partner. Now, it's funny that the audience, of course, is getting really mad and upset for going back with Jori, and they think that she just let Jori in. And by the looks of it, it didn't look like it was easy for Jori at all.
Jori was ready to like, okay, you gave birth. It's time to get back into the relationship. I'm like, no. Like, now I'm pissed off. Now that I'm thinking back to what you did and the fact that I even had to endure this, like, no, I'm pissed off. So it took some time, and then I decided, okay, let's try to work things out.
She's not giving me easy.
But this is what happens when you're very invested in a creator. You're so invested that like you get upset, you get heated, you even can turn to the point that you dislike the person for taking that person back.
I had to read the book. It made me sad, okay? And then I got mad at Jori. I'm feeling like I don't want to see his face on the vlogs. And when I see his face, I get mad. Like I've become too invested. And I feel like a lot of her subscribers have, and some of us may need to take a step back. I feel like I've become a little too involved. And even though I haven't really spoke about it much on my channel, and I'm trying to steer away from it, I still feel like I'm having real emotions out here for somebody that I don't even know. Like, I'm legit upset with her for not leaving her man. Like, it shouldn't be that way. Like, this is the internet. And then in the video, she kept saying, we are young and we still have room to improve. And I'm like, you're right. You are young. Why my old ass out here feeling some type of way about what these young people doing? I shouldn't be feeling this way. Out of mind, and I'm not upset, and I'm not allowing it to get to me like it is.
Yo, I appreciate this girl's honesty. But Carmen gets the same thing. Carmen and Corey, she gets a lot of hate for accepting Corey, etc. At the end of the day, that's their choice. For me, I'm not going to get mad and upset or bash someone for their choices that they're going to make to try to make something work. I can't fault them for that, especially when they have kids with the person. So I'm not going to fault someone for trying to make their relationship work after he was a complete dog. I completely understand. You're going to try to make it work. Eventually, the person, if it happens again, eventually the person's going to leave. Especially someone like Keesha who's independent. I don't think he could keep doing this for years and years and years, and she's gonna just stay there and accept it. I really highly doubt it. Now, another thing I want to bring up is, did Jori tell Ashli that he was moving forward with Keesha?
Was the last time we dealt with it, because I remember seeing the message. He texted her and said, I told you there was going to be a time that was going to come that I was gonna like have to cut you off and be back 100% committed to Keesha. And she was like, I understand. I enjoyed my time while it lasted. And then he was just like, I'm sorry, but you know, like I love her. Like this is the girl I want to be with. And she said she understood.
But according to Ashli, that never happened.
He never clarified when the break was over and when they got back together. She hit me up and she told me when they were moving back forward. So that was the only time that it was clarified to me when exactly their little break was over.
So that means that if this is true, Jori wanted to keep Ashli along on the side. Now, there is no evidence of these text messages, and I even wanted these text messages as solid proof, and I have not had them. So out of these two, someone's lying. Either Keesha is lying or Ashli is lying. And without the evidence, I will never know, and I don't want to point the finger because I really don't know. Now, another narrative that's running around is, did Ashli wanted to trap Jori with a baby? All of this seems weird to me because I know I didn't in you as I sent you the money for plan B, and I never not know knowing it not to work. So unless you ain't get it, but I know I didn't nut in you, so I don't know how all this is even possible. You know, I took every step possible not to get you.
He's talking about he gave her a plan B. He shows me the evidence of a plan B. She's saying she took the plan B and must not have worked.
And according to Insider, plan B has a 95% chance of preventing pregnancy if you take it within 24 hours. If you take it within 72 hours, your chances reduce to 89%. Another website said, if you take the pill within 72 after you had unprotected sex, something can reduce the risk of pregnancy up to 87%. If taken as directly, if you take plan B one step within 24 hours, it is much more effective. So regardless, you can still get pregnant with plan B. Plan B isn't a 100% guarantee effective.
She just said she got pregnant off the pre-com.
Let's get into pre-com, okay? So even though Jori didn't nut in her, using pre-com, oh my God. Using pre-com is involuntary, meaning like it just comes. We can't force it not to come out, or it just comes. Some people may lie and get, I can control it. They're lying to you. They're lying. Run. They're trying to make you pregnant. You can't control when it comes out. Pre-com doesn't usually have any sperm in it, but some people may have a small amount of sperm in their pre-com. If there is sperm in someone's pre-com and the pre-com gets into your vagina, it could possibly fertilize an egg and lead to pregnancy, just the way I say it.
Jori said, I want to see proof. She got offended and blocked him because he asked for the proof.
So there is no evidence to back up that this was planned and that Ashli purposely did this. But there is data and information out there that shows that, yes, it's 100% possibility, even though she had pre-com, even though she had the plan B, that she can still get pregnant. My next conclusion, Keesha recording the conversation. I've noticed a lot of people have a lot of like, why would you record the conversation with their ex-girlfriend? You planned this whole conspiracy that they've created, right? Well, in actual reality, she recorded the conversation because she wanted to go back and tell Jori and show Jori. There was a lot of personal things that was in that recording. And those specific personal things, she wanted Jori to hear it. And I believe in Atlanta it's actually not against the law. You only need one person that was in that conversation to give consent. So it's not against the law. I don't blame her for doing it the way she did it. And they don't have the DNA test. I don't fault her for that. I really don't. And it wouldn't surprise me if y'all would probably do something like that either. So I really can't fault someone for doing that. If anything, I think it's smart. Go and investigate to find out what the hell's going on.
She's definitely not pregnant. Then, of course, now I'm listening to him. But I'm also not dumb. So I did go back to her and I said, hey, respectfully, like, let's just have a conversation. I didn't get a response. I didn't get an answer. Days went by, no response, no answer. So just like you took it upon yourself to reach out to my boyfriend and have conversations with him, when you saw fit, I took it upon myself to reach out and have conversations with who I felt could give me actual answers to my questions. And that's exactly what I did.
Keesha really put her kids first in this situation. She really put August first in this situation. Why? because she loves Jeremy. She loves Jeremy so much that she was willing to forgive Ashli and try to move on with the situation. She really tried to make it work. Like, you gotta give props to her, because anyone else, oh my God, anyone else would have not want to handle that. Would want to flip the tables, would want to fight. Like, no one, that's very hard to handle. So you cannot take that away from Keesha. That was really nice of her to try to maturely fix this situation and create a really good atmosphere for the kids. But clearly, Jeremy and Ashli weren't putting August as a #1 priority. Because if they were putting him as a #1 priority, they wouldn't be doing the sneaky ish that they were doing behind Keesha's back. Now, it's obvious to me, as much as Ashli says she didn't want a relationship with Jeremy, I think that's a lie too. It's clear that she wanted something from Jeremy. Now, this is when Jeremy cheated again. Like, looking at these messages, it is so sad. Like, this is probably after you got counseling as well. Like, this makes me think that Jeremy wants to have multiple girls. If you really want to be in a polygamous relationship, you have to be honest with yourself. There are so many guys that try to have these, like, anonymous relationships, and it just doesn't work. And a lot of these guys out here, they think they want a anonymous relationship, and at the end of the day, they just want a polygamous relationship. You have to be really honest with yourself. I don't know if that's what he wants, but looking at this ish, and from what I heard that he told Ashli, he's like, damn, maybe you maybe you were hoping to get a 3-way relationship.
And I'm like, what's she mad about? And I told Jeremy from that day, I said, Jeremy, look, I think Ashli still like you, and this probably not gonna work out. So we're gonna have to probably do something to try to get everybody on the same page. Because what she's texting you, if she's just the mother of your alleged son, she would not be saying the things that she's saying.
But the chances are that maybe he didn't want a polygamous relationship, and he just wanted to keep you as a side piece. The side woman. A lot of people are getting mad about that. Oh my goodness. She's not the side woman. Okay, she's #1. Yep. He's not taking her out, taking her to places. They only went to Miami once. That was it. So he can have someone to play with when he was there. Someone that paid her own ticket. Yeah. You a side piece, bruh. Keisha's obviously the main chick, someone he's in a relationship with, someone that he loves, someone that he has kids with. And maybe he was confused at the start about about the kid thing. But at the end of the day, he never gave you a title. You're the one upset with him consistently. Why? Because you're the side piece. You will always be treated as a side piece. You were trying to be the main one. You were trying to take someone else from someone. And it didn't work out in your favor. If you didn't, then why did you continue doing stuff for him when you were meant to be working and co-parenting for the kids' sake?
He's my friend. He's my friend. He don't even know you other than coming over there to show you his butt and his set of nuts. That's the only time that he see you, when his dick is talking to your mouth or his dick is talking to your butt. When y'all ain't having no dick talk and booty and dick intersection and traffic jams in your ass, he don't know you, but he's your friend. He ain't committed to you. He don't take care of you. He don't have your back. He only bend you over and see the back of you when he you in your butthole. But that's your friend. A lot of these men don't have no value for you because you don't have no value for yourself. I mean, why? He didn't have to earn it. He didn't have to work for it. It was too easy to mother have.
And these F-boys out here will say anything just to get some, man. Oh my goodness. They will say anything. Like, it's crazy the lies that they come up with. Trust me, man. I know.
Like, to be honest, there was other women that he was doing stuff with too.
And can we talk about when Ashli first came over? That whole situation was a complete mess. The only person that was right was Keisha's best friend.
My best friend says, no, this is not the right time. Wait, don't let her come over with the baby. You need to get yourself together. You just found this out. Process it.
Like, there was no etiquette of, like, when someone comes to your house, It was Jeremy's job because Jeremy was the one who invited her to begin with, and it's both Keesha and Jeremy's house because he pays rent too there, according to the book. But see, you guys don't see behind the scenes, so you assume Keesha pays everything. It was his job to introduce Ashli to everyone. Yo, maybe they didn't go to etiquette class or something, but when people come to your house, you have to introduce them to the people at your place. They don't, yes, they can introduce themselves, but that's your job. That's what you meant to do. And I don't blame the mother for feeling the way she did, and she was even grown enough to take herself out of the situation because she was not happy. And who wouldn't be? She just found out about everything. Wow, you can imagine putting your mother in that situation. They're all to blame. I feel sorry for Keesha's mom. I think this whole book situation would have not happened if Ashli had a copy to read. If she had a copy to read, I don't think this probably would have escalated to what it escalated to. And I don't know how many times, but Ashli seemed to change her story about what Keesha told her.
That the book was supposed to be strictly about just their lives, and that towards the end of the book, they were going to somehow incorporate, August was here.
I'm not in it at all. August is not in it or nothing. It's about their life.
People that bought the book but didn't even read the book, but they were going off what everyone else said.
The book to support. I ain't read the I just bought it.
And some of you guys were nice enough to message me and give me your opinion. Like someone said, but the way the entire paragraph was worded leads to people to believe it was a one-night stand. If you don't already know the full situation, it can't still be implied. If it's not written literally, that's what reading comprehension is all about. At this point, the only person that can elaborate is the author. And I messaged Jeremy. And said, hey, like at the end of the day, you're the author. And if you say what you said, people can't go against your own thoughts and what you were thinking when you were writing the book. If he said, okay, what I meant by this is that it was, like, for example, I didn't hear back from the girl. Oh, that means it's a one-night stand. But now that you know the timeline of events, it was during that time he didn't hear back from that girl, so he thought he was in the free, like he didn't make someone pregnant, right? But if he went on and explained that, and then you guys say, oh no, you still met a one-night stand, that's your word against his word. And there's no argument there. It's like, okay, well, you can think whatever you want. At the end of the day, the author said what he meant. And if what he meant makes sense, like he tells you, no, I meant this by this. I meant this little paragraph here. I didn't mean one night stand. I meant because of this, and this happened. That's what I really meant. If he tells you what he really meant and it all makes sense, it's your word against his, and you can't basically argue with what he's thinking and what he did. So it's like case closed. But because he doesn't want to speak up and doesn't want to explain as an author what he meant, people are going to continue dragging them and continue talking about that. Now, Keesha says that's not what it meant, but Keesha is just a partner author. I could take her word for it because she's obviously, they both did it together. But coming from him, it would still be better. And it wouldn't even be downplaying Ashli, because you're clearing the air. You're not calling her a one-night stand. You didn't mean it like that. So none of these parties are going to get hurt when you explain what you meant, unless you did deliberately try to make it as a one-night stand. To this day, I still read that and I don't see it as a one-night stand. But I don't blame you guys for thinking that, especially because the author now does not want to clear the air. As well as that, a lot of parts were left out of the book, taken out of the book to respect Ashli. And I feel if those parts were left in, then I feel that maybe you guys probably would have a better standing of the timeline. Still saying that, as someone who didn't take it as that, and there's a lot of people that read that book and didn't take it as that, if they can take it as another way, I don't see why you would continue bashing someone at the same time, knowing that a certain sentence can mean something else as well. Now, Jeremy did try to end things with Ashli. It really seemed like he was trying to stop everything and really put Keesha first, August first, And there was that time he was going to go to Ashli's place. He didn't go. And then there was that time in December. Now, apparently, according to Keesha, he was actually going there to get August. So unless Ashli is more than happy to show evidence to prove that Keesha is lying, then I can retract that and be like, yo, Keesha lied to me. But she never showed the full receipts. Like, she never showed what happened after the conversation. And this isn't the only time where she showed a part of a conversation, but she didn't show the part when Jeremy did not go, etc. You know, so it makes me think that this is a possibility. But at the end of the day, no one has the full receipts. The sit-down video is what was, to me, was problematic.
Exactly, nigga just fucking one night and you never ever think about her ever. I promise you, because I've done it.
Clearly, Jeremy was speaking in general when he was talking about the question, what the one-time question. Now, because of Keesha editing things and taking things out, it's really hard for me to comment because I haven't seen the original video. And I just don't want to... I'd rather comment on something that I've seen sometimes, and in this case, I want to see it. Sometimes I don't, but in this case, I want to see it. And the title of that question as well was really problematic. Yeah, because it says, Jeremy, did you actually like the other woman more than just that one time? I think when you put that together and him having that, the way he said it, it's like, it's problematic.
I kept it as clean and cute as I possibly could. I really genuinely did. On my end, I genuinely kept it as clean.
Well, you did a good job, huh?
I kept it as clean as I possibly could because there was a lot of other things that were said that I could have easily been like, oh yeah, this is making me look good.
Exactly, nigga just fucking one night and you never ever think about her ever. I promise you, because I've done it.
Now, when he mentions that, he's basically just giving you an example on how his emotions cannot be tied to someone. Even if it's one night, 2 nights, 3 nights. He's saying, look, I can do it for one night and I can never get tied to someone. He's just giving you an example. Maybe he was trying to put that together with Ashli, but because he said other things, Keesha edited it out. And that's why it came out the way it did. But at the end of the day, they should have not put that in at all because it was just messy. It leaded to many... The title was so messy. Like, that's why people think it's a one-night stand. But Ashli's upset, and she would have never been in this situation if she put her son first and kept her word with Keesha. If she did that, she would have never been in this situation. She's upset because Jeremy is basically saying in the video that he doesn't have any emotional ties to her. I'm assuming that she thought that maybe he liked her more than just what he was doing with her. That's why she's upset. She sees the video. He's saying his emotions doesn't get tied, and he gives an example of like, I could do something for one night and my emotions not going to get tied. Don't matter how many nights it is, his emotions are not going to get tied to you. So she sees that. She's hurt. She's upset. She played herself. She didn't want to put peace and harmony first. What's peace and harmony? Co-parenting, respecting Keesha, respecting August's sisters, respecting Jeremy. Both of these two are both in the wrong, but that's why she's upset. Y'all gotta understand that's the real reason why she's upset.
Lying just to make your bitch feel good. Like, don't do that because then you making somebody else feel bad.
But what do you expect when you play with fire? It's clear that she's not a woman with respect, honor, and integrity, because if she was, she would have never been in that situation to begin with, so she has no one to blame but herself. Of course, I would be like, why does that question say that one time? Like, what do you mean by that? That should have been elaborated on, right? She should have questioned them and asked them about it. But the thing is, Ashli had her emotions involved. Her emotions was involved. She was being fake to Keesha, and she and Jeremy were doing the dirty behind her back and behind their kids. Because clearly the kids weren't thought about when they were doing that. Let's just keep it real. Another problem here as well is that Ashli handled the thing really immaturely. She sends the message to Keesha and Jeremy and then blocks them. But afterwards, apparently it was cool because Jeremy went over there, spoke to her, and they were still communicating. They were still co-parenting. So it must have been squished, right? Well, I guess not, because Ashli was making these little posts online. Ain't shit about a N who don't care for their kids. As well as that, by the end of the year, I'm going to give people what they've been asking for. And I only say by the end of the year because I got my hands on so much crazy work, blah, blah. Thing about it too, for sure, I stay with receipts. But then she's talking to Jeremy again. So this makes me think, was Keesha right when Keesha said this in my interview?
Jeremy, you need to act right because my feelings are involved too. And if you don't act right, then I'm going to bring this to the internet. And that's exactly what she did. So she's just at this point, because obviously she can't get what she wants from Jeremy. So now she's threatening to take this to the internet unless he's willing to continue to kiss her ass.
Because we have no receipts of Jeremy questioning her, like, why are you saying that? But we have receipts of her trying to co-parent him with him again. But if you were planning to show all of these receipts, did you think that your co-parenting was still going to work when you went online and spoke what you spoke about? Like, why were you so hot and cold with it? It makes me think that maybe what Keesha was saying was right. I just keep thinking that.
The video that you and Jeremy edited with the Q&A, the sit-down Q&A, when it said, Jeremy, did you actually like the other woman more than just that one time?
No, we didn't select the questions for the Q&A. They were already, those were the questions that were sent in from the subscribers when we told them to send us the questions for the Q&A.
Okay, so
we didn't just like kind of make them up ourselves.
Yeah, they sent you the question.
I think they probably wrote the question like that because of the way the book was, based off what I'm hearing, because they went, I mean, me personally, I didn't hear anything about a one-night stand business at all. No one was like messaging me about a one-night stand when the Q&A was written. I never personally saw something about a one-night stand. I'm assuming people were thinking because he said at that time when he made that mistake. They were assuming that, and that's why they asked the question that way, but we didn't personally come up with any of those questions.
Yeah, I know you didn't come up with the question, but you guys typed it in that way in your video.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm thinking you're asking me is like the question that was on the screen.
Yeah. Did you literally copy what they said and you wrote it on the video?
So the people who were in the video, like behind the scenes filming and asking us the questions.
No, you didn't. You can't actually hear the guy ask this question.
No. I'm saying you remember those people.
Oh yeah.
So we had let them be in charge of gathering the questions to ask.
Okay.
So it was like that was our first time actually getting the questions once they asked it to us. So they copied and pasted and sent it to us for me to edit the video, if that makes sense.
Okay. So, but when they sent it to you on IG, isn't it on your Instagram?
No, I think they wrote the questions under our video.
So the questions wasn't sent to you from an Instagram, it was sent to you from YouTube.
So when we sent all the questions over to them, they were able to go through all the questions and make the questions for the video.
Oh, okay. So
it was more than one question that was asked.
Okay.
So they kind of like were able to organize. Okay, these are the questions that are being asked most. Blah 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 blah. These are the top questions. Here they are.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm assuming based off of all the time that has went by, the whole one-time thing was because it was more so the trolls saying something like that.
Okay, I get it now.
Like, oh, did you like her more than that one time? Or like I said, we weren't in control of the questions in any way, shape, or form.
So basically,
they wrote the questions.
So you got the questions and you sent it to them. They organize it and they pick the questions, and the questions that they picked, they sent it to you.
Yes, to edit the video.
Okay. But do you understand how when you typed it up like that, how people would think
because your question is based off maybe a troll or someone else's assumption, do you understand how people will see that as you are trying to paint a picture of it being a one-night stand?
No, because I distinctively made it very clear in the book that we were having infidelity issues. I don't know where the one-night stand could have even come from, because if you read the entire book, it would have been very clear. If you just jump to conclusions based off of, I don't even know. Like, we made it clear it was infidelity issues. Like, we never wrote the book like, Jeremy cheated on me one time, you guys. This just was a very tough time. Like, we distinctly talked about consistent habitual cheating.
Okay.
We deliberately said it was more than one time. I don't know. I think they wanted to glamorize the whole aspect of Ashli more than the idea of we were having issues of infidelity.
By the way, I can't see your face. Your camera's down. Sorry.
They were, I think they were trying to glamorize the whole relationship aspect themselves of Ashli. Then we were more so trying to convey we were having infidelity issues, period. So the book was written in a certain way to convey the message of infidelity based off, if they would have read the book the way it was written for them to read it. And it was only 51 pages. We wrote the book to talk about infidelity issues, not a one specific day or time or something like that. So I still to this day stand by. We never made it seem like it was a one night stand. Like, we clearly we told the truth.
I understand that in your book, but for the people maybe that didn't purchase the book, or some people that didn't get the book right, and then they see that you copied and pasted a comment in your video, but they don't know that. And they don't know that because now they do, but before they didn't know that. And it says, Jeremy, did you actually like the other woman more than just that one time? Because you copied that question from someone's assumption who didn't read the book, or maybe a troll, when the other people see it, I can see how they will see that as, oh, you're trying to paint this picture as she's a one-night stand. Do you understand?
No. I get what you're saying, but I think that we talk too much about the infidelity on our platform as a whole. That was just not a conclusion to gather.
Okay.
There was just no way to gather that conclusion that there was a one night stand going on. We talked about his infidelity in our documentary that had came out, prior to this, and more people watched that video or that series, the documentary, than the sit-down video by itself. So I still don't... Like I said, I think that the trolls... I've talked to a lot of people since this whole ordeal has happened, and no one came to that conclusion. I think the trolls just wanted to bend the facts of the situation just to hype Ashli up for this whole thing. Because, like I've said more than one time, it didn't really matter if Jeremy had sex with Ashli one time or 50 million times. A life was produced, so it doesn't matter. Like, we're just here to tell everybody that infidelity happened and a child is here, not to give the terrible details and gruesome details of when I think people were harboring over facts that didn't matter and trying to figure out things that just didn't matter, when the whole point of this is we went through an issue in our relationship. This happened because of that issue, and we're moving forward.
I said people are already assuming it wasn't a one-night stand, so you can say it wasn't. What did you mean by you said people are already assuming it's a one-night stand? No, that it wasn't a one-night stand. Sorry. What did you mean by people? Sorry.
So when Britt was, at that point, Britt was watching the videos from the other reactors or content creators or whoever and reading the comments of the stuff that was being said and coming back to me. And she was already letting me know that people were harboring over, oh, what was Ashli to him, Ashli this, or stuff like that. So, and when I had conversations with her at that time, I'm like, why does everybody keep talking about one night stand or like all, or trying to figure out like how long they were sleeping with each other and stuff like that? And I'm like,
we never focused on that. I don't say, that's not the story we're running with. So I'm not asking you to come on here and try to pretend like this was just like a one night thing. Like we never tried to pretend like this. We didn't go into details. So I'm not asking you to try to protect that or say things in a way to make it seem as though this was a one time thing. We made it very clear that it was not. Like it was continued cheating. Because she wanted to know like how far or how deep to go into it when she spoke about it. And I just said, to me, it was like I said, still now, it was not even, the focus was not on Ashli and Jeremy's ordeal or the extent of their ordeal. It was more so about the aftermath of what was going on at that very moment, that time, which was me taking the fall for something those two people decided to do. And that's what I'm asking you to defend. I'm not asking you to defend, oh, he really loved her and it was, one time and it wasn't like it wasn't that big of a deal. No, I'm not asking you to do all that. It doesn't matter. Like I told her, it did not matter if it was 50 million times one time a life was produced. Like, who cares about none of that? Like, if we're still together, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just asking you to say, like, these people, you guys have like literally taken your hatred for someone and sort out what reality is. And the reality of the situation was, regardless if you like me or not, that I was a victim to the situation because I did not do anything to hurt anyone. My actions were not the aggressor of the situation, or I did not sort out to hurt anybody in the situation. Whereas they were trying to make it seem like I was the bad guy. I was the villain.
Yeah, I think people are trying to paint it as you're hiding the fact that Jeremy and because you're protecting Ashli at this point, you don't want all the details out. They are assuming that you're hiding the details, that it was I think the trolls are thinking that you're trying to hide the fact that they had a relationship, and the others are thinking that you're hiding it, that the fact that it was more than just a one night stand, which you never said it was, but they probably assume that, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why when they see little things like that, and it's a domino effect, and it leaded to a lot of things. Just those little tiny things got taken out of context, and
I think the trolls don't want to themselves take accountability for what the facts of the situation are. They want it to be more. They more so have made up their mind what the situation was, because I've seen over the span of this whole situation of Keesha was the roommate and she was holding him back from his love and he really wanted her, and it's like as many times as we've said what the situation was, and more so importantly that Jeremy said what it was, that is still not being received. Like, people are missing that, and anything that's been said is been misconstrued because they want the story to be the way that they envisioned the story, that he did not really love me, that this was the sign that they've been waiting for, that he was not in love, he was not happy, he wanted this type of female, I was not that type of female, and he, I was forcing him into something that he wasn't really happy with, and that still has been perpetuated to this very moment, like, oh, he's doing this and he's doing, like, they continue.
Oh, you're the sugar mama, etc. The next thing I want to talk about is how these trolls, or even maybe the innocent bystanders, most likely haters, love to twist the words. They twist the words of what Ashli says, they twist the words of what Keesha says, and they go be telling those people things so they can, like, fight for their entertainment. Remember how the people were twisting Keesha's words, running back to Ashli saying, your son is over there. And she never said that. And another thing that Ashli said was, I really suggest that you stay in your lane and sit tight, because the gag is all of my friends know the real story and are ready to talk. They just waiting on me. We can really air this beat out.
Exposing a child, like I was told. Exposing. How do you expose a child? That doesn't even sound right.
Again, these trolls love going back to Ashli and telling her lies or exaggerating things, like exposing his child when that wasn't never going to happen. Now, the whole reaching out to another reaction channel, that was very bad on Keesha's side. I definitely feel that Keesha is probably in her emotions at this point, and she's acting off emotions instead of using logic and common sense, because why would you go reach out to a reaction channel that you don't even know and share so much with this person. Now, yeah, that reactor channel also shared, BREE also shared personal stuff with Keesha, okay? And I guess Keesha felt comfortable. But it revealed a lot in her personality. Like, you said some things that weren't nice. You're saying that you met her in person and you have the hand emoji on your face, indicating you're talking about her looks, right? Like, what else are you talking about? She also says he just needed to grow the F up and stop lusting, and his baby mama has taught him you could lose a great thing for a temporary feeling and stuck with a permanent problem. Now, everyone thought this was August. Clearly, August is not the problem. It's Ashli. You also try to indicate that she's less than because she's a stripper.
He wouldn't ever be with a girl like her. She's a stripper.
People are also pointing out that Keesha has stripped as well, which is it's a reach. If anything, she'd go dance. But you yourself have been seductive on YouTube, and you're talking down on someone who's been seductive as well. When you talk down on strippers, but yet you're dancing and being seductive on the camera or on Instagram, it's hypocritical. Obviously, there's a huge difference. She's not taking her clothes off. But again, it's still sexual. It's still sexual energy. And just to point out, because it looks like I'm just talking about the dancing. No, like she was lifting up her skirt. You can see under her skirt, all that seductiveness. At the same time, if you're going to call her a bitch, though, I don't blame her for talking shit to BREE, you know, and it wasn't publicly. This was something that was private. Of course, does it make it okay? But I don't blame her for doing it. When you say shit like this, I can imagine someone has to be quiet, hold their emotions in, because they don't want all this all over their social media, so they're gonna try to sort it out behind the scenes. But because she was in her emotions, she made really poor decisions by doing that.
Trying to basically extort Jeremy for money, and she's threatening us to make a video, but we can't speak on it. I have brands and my manager telling me not to. However, you can make the video and I'll give you the info to tell.
Now, Keesha says she didn't meant it that way, but this is writing. This is something that you typed up.
So what I meant by that was, I think that Ashli was okay with being behind the scenes and keeping quiet about whatever they had going on, as long as Jeremy was catering to her sexual desires. And the moment that was cut off, or the moment boundaries were being upheld on his end, it was kind of like, no. Jeremy was letting me know. It was always some warning signs or some warning to him that if he didn't do certain things, the moment he was not cooperating with what she wanted, it was always like a threat about me.
But I don't blame her for, let's say she did get it wrong, I don't blame her for thinking like that, because Ashli has posted things like this. And she also, like I said, kept on going online saying, I'm going to spill the tea, or I'm going to show you guys everything, and I got the receipts, etc. Like, what is that? And then all of a sudden, you and Jeremy are talking again, which makes me think that maybe you weren't extorting, but you were threatening to do stuff if you didn't get your way behind the scenes. And this is an assumption, but that's what it looks like. Because why would he continue talking to you after you made all these little threats and stuff? Especially this one here. You're like, I'm going live tomorrow, record a Q&A. I'm answering all questions besides the tea right now, meaning you're going to do it later. We will get there, I promise. But then you want to say this.
I didn't say anything bad. I called you my friend.
Even though I said I was going to spill the tea, and even though I said I was going to air this bitch out, I called you my friend. Do you understand the hypocrisy in that? Like, do you see that? Do you guys see that? Let me know in the comment section below. Why would you say that? And they'd be like, I never said anything bad about you. But eventually I was going to air you out. Unless you were using that as leverage. Now let's go into Nia's video. When Nia made that video, and again, Keesha was upset. I think Keesha was very upset about the situation. She's going through what she's going through, but you can't control people's comments. Now, what the people were doing in the comments was wrong, and it's against YouTube's policies. But that doesn't fall on Nia's hand. Nia's actually not responsible for that. Some YouTubers think it is, because they're meant to be this policy when if your comments are all negative, and you don't control your comments, your channel can be taken down. But I confirmed with YouTube. I actually messaged them, YouTube, Google support, And basically they go, upon checking there, we don't really have a way to assure that your video won't be taken down. It's our system that will review your content. Just make sure that your video is in line with the advisement friendly content guidelines. And I go, okay, if the video is in line with the comments are not, is that the creator's responsibility? He goes, no, it's not. Now, with the Keesha and BREE situation, I definitely feel that there should have been better communication. And I do feel that BREE did tell too much. And I'm glad that she was able to admit that in her video. But at the same time, I definitely feel there should have been better communication on what should have been said in the video, etc. She also did assume that Keesha didn't want to be her friend anymore, and I feel like that probably shouldn't be shared on the internet, and she should have approached Keesha directly and asked her. I think it made the situation 10 times worse, and the trolls were definitely eating it up. And what's made things look worse is that BREE is also following people that spoke poorly on Keesha and her family. I do believe Jeremy's video as well after that situation went a little bit too far by calling BREE the B word, and as well as that, I don't think he was 100% honest when he said this.
So just to clear that up, no, I was not stepping out on Keesha for no 2 years with no other women.
You're correct, maybe not other women, but you did with one woman, and that was Ashli. Unless he's talking about the whole 2 years, Ashli on the side, then no. It looked like it was an on-off situation. In all, this was a big impact on Keesha's channel and her personal life as well. All because Jeremy made poor decisions into sleeping with someone that he really didn't know. Due to so many things that were taken out of the book, due to trying to protect Ashli and people jumping to the conclusion that she was a one-night stand, due to the sit-down video and copying what someone asked Keesha, and due to Ashli being in her emotions because Jeremy was playing her and she thought that Jeremy wanted her more than just a F-buddy, I guess, and not actually handling the situation as an adult and just blocking Keesha and Jeremy and not talking to both of them afterwards. Due to the trolls lying to Ashli and Keesha while Ashli was in her emotions to wild things up. Then from her making these little threats online, due to Jeremy's sister giving Ashli more of a platform, especially after the trolls got a hold of her and were able to make more lies up. And because of all that, due to Keesha making poor decisions and reaching out to BREE instead of speaking out herself, then to getting BREE to defend her and BREE talking more than she should have, and then Keesha's manager telling her to apologize and her listening to her manager, which led to more stress on her life, which got her end up breaking up with Jeremy, then him making rude comments about Ashli under his comments. All these factors were basically a domino effect which led to this massive moment. Due to all of them making poor decisions, no communication, which end up leading Ashli and Hazel making the Reckoning video.